Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with
The Cumbees.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Scott, and it's truly a privilege to have you. Today we have a special guest with us, Dr. Miles Jones.
Hi, Dr. Jones. Welcome to Real Talk with the Cumbees.
How are you, Amanda? How are you, Scott?
Today we would like for you to share with our viewers a little bit about your new material that you have put out. And we have it back here. It's called The Moedim Celestial Events in the Heavens. But before you answer the question that is on your book, just share just a short little background of who you are and where you come from. And that way our viewers can understand a little bit how you were able to come up with all these discoveries and evidence.
Well, I graduated from the University of Texas at Austin with 3 degrees in languages and linguistics. So I'm a linguist at heart, which is fine. I'm a biblical archaeologist now. I don't do the digging in the dirt. I just try and translate the stuff that they dig up. so that's where we come from. And I was all over the place in my younger years. I was a wreck, really. But when I came to God, which happened about, I was 40. I prayed, and I figured, well, shouldn't it be like a bolt of lightning or a fountain of living water or something like that? But I decided, I've made my choice. I've chosen my team. I'm going to suit up and show up every day, be the best man that I can be, and be the kind of man that Yeshua wants me to be. But I kept praying about it, about having these spiritual gifts. And finally, Yehovah told me, spiritual gifts are mine to give and yours not to worry about. So I quit worrying about them. And then a couple months later, I was reading in scripture, Exodus 32:16, where Moses comes down the mountain with the tablets. And the tablets were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God. Now, remember, I'm a linguist.
Right.
And I know that there is only been one alphabet. And that alphabet appeared, all other alphabets spring from that one. We can trace them all back. This is a given. It's not in dispute or anything. They look a lot different now, but they all come from one source. And that source appeared in the path of the Exodus at the time of the Exodus. So, I asked God, well, this writing of God in Exodus 32:16, could this be the original alphabet? And he said to me, yes. And you're going to find the evidence of the Exodus and carry that message. So that's basically how it all started. Now, I'll tell you my response to that is that I whined. Well, I cannot imagine how any evidence could have survived of that. I mean, that happened 3,500 years ago, the Sinai, the experience. I wouldn't even know how to begin or how much money it would cost to launch an expedition to go there and find it. So I whined, but I did say, but if you can open the doors, I cannot open, and I'll charge through them. And to kind of skip a few decades, last year I led that expedition to the Middle East to go and document the evidence that's found at the base of Mount Sinai in Midian, in Arabia. Now, keep in mind, that's where scripture says it is, not in Egypt.
Yes, sir.
It says 72 times in the Bible they went out of Egypt. So having studied the Hebrew of that phrase, I'm convinced they meant they went out of Egypt and were not in Egypt. So they were in Arabia, and that's where it is. And we have an amazing assortment of evidence there. So it's been a good bit of time, including inscriptions from the base of Mount Sinai in Arabia, which tell a story that comes straight from the pages of Exodus. So that's where it started. But then, since he suckered me into doing that, it's just a few inscriptions on rocks. You can do that. Then he told me that some years later to go to Israel and find the earliest manuscripts of the Gospels in Hebrew. Now, everything I'd ever read because I'd been studying this. Everything I ever read said the Gospels were not written in Hebrew, and there was no such thing, the Hebrew Gospels. But this time, you would be very proud of me, Scott. Amanda, you'd be proud of me. I did not whine. I said, yes, sir. Oh,
Scott
whatever
has
you
a,
say.
yeah, Scott has a little, I reckon we know that Yahweh can be a little humorous at times. So he can vouch for the whining part a little
I
bit.
started whining on a situation, and I was I was sitting outside on the back porch in the swing, and I told the Lord, he said, tell me every one of your excuses and then go do it. And I'm
That'll
like,
stop you.
that means just shut up and go do it, Scott. That's what it means. I'm going to listen to you. But after you get done talking and you get up, don't stop until you finish what I told you to do. And I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
Well, when I had after I had done that, within a few weeks, I was talking with a homeschool friend of mine, and we were at a homeschool conference, and I told her what I was doing, and I was working on the writing of God, and she said, "Will, are you familiar with the debate over the location of Mount Sinai in Arabia rather than Egypt?" And I didn't. And there was a book on sale at that conference about it, and there was all this archaeological evidence in there. It was very convicting. It was very convincing. That all the things that it said were in scripture were there. So I called up the people that had gotten this evidence out of Arabia, and that would be Jim and Penny Caldwell, if you know who I'm talking about.
yes, sir.
And they said, how interesting, you should call. Talking about the writing of God, we have inscriptions from the base of Mount Sinai and Midian. You think you can translate them for us? So I did. It took a couple of years because I had a lot to learn about the ancient Mideastern languages. But yeah, they are written in the oldest alphabet known to linguistic science, and they tell a story. They're written in Hebrew, and they tell a story that comes straight from the pages of Exodus about the Amalekites, and they're preying on the women there. They're simple funerary inscriptions, but it comes straight from Exodus. So that happened within a few weeks. Of me whining about how I didn't have any money and how would I do that, and they overnighted the information to me. I didn't even have to pay the postage. So since then, I just say, yes, sir.
Sir. Well, Dr. Jones, the resources that we got right here, we thank you for everything that you sent out. But how would you like for our listeners to reach out and to communicate with you?
I wanted to, you can go to writingofgod.com, sign up there we have a Revelation of the Month list. You can actually get free downloads from there about some of these things we're talking about. So just give us your email, and we will also send you research updates. We have a paid service. It's like $9.99 a month, $10 a month or something, because we don't want you to have to wait for the next 5 years before we put the next book out. Well, so what we do is we let people have it chapter by chapter as soon as we finish it.
Me and
So
Amanda signed up for that. When Amanda's seen it, she says, I'm in it.
Yeah, we
so
signed.
you get a
Yeah.
chapter or two of Revelation every month, and then we'll be moving on to Matthew next, and you'll get that. We decided we would do Revelation first as a team because of the times that we're in. Everybody seemed to think it was extremely important, and it certainly has turned out to. Yes, Amanda, you were saying something.
Yes, sir. We did, as soon as I saw that where we could actually help support, your ministry and what God has called you to do, we signed up for the emails and stuff that y'all would send out. I said, well, I would love to do that. If he's going to send out and we won't have to wait for the book, he's practically giving you the book page by page, and soon you'll have a book. So I was like, that's amazing. So yeah, we look forward to that, and I look forward to your emails, and I'm checking my emails. I'll go and I'll see, oh, Dr. Jones will send out a new one. Let's see what's going on this time. But it's very exciting, and you've got a wonderful team. I've listened to, I think is it Jennifer Bach? I'm not, there's a lady there, Miss Bach. I think that's how you pronounce her last name.
Janice Baca
Yes,
does a
Janice
blog.
Baca.
We've done a blog for her. Yeah. So yeah, she's a fabulous translator. We've been blessed. We have others that are very good. Janice is just superb, good friend. and a wonderful scholar. So she's got a great blog on there. So she's kind of bringing up the issues. We learned so much about the Messianic church as we're going through these materials.